Yo, 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 what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games. And I'm coming at you guys with the SHADDOLL deck profile today. This is deep draw SHADDOLLs because draw fell out of favor in the format. The list that I had for you guys was catered to playing around draw as much as possible while still getting to the critical cards that matter. Now, this is not necessarily the list I would say is like definitively the best list or the list that I would pick over the other variations, but I did want to show you guys a variant that would allow you to effectively draw into your side deck more. It's more, basically more consistently, and also drawing into your combo pieces more. What I was doing before was using just like one card that searched what I need, so if I got Drolled in Resolution, I still had it already, you know, but Droll fell out of favor, so there are some certain cards that you could play in the deck that actually do they don't necessarily make the deck more consistent, but they can boost the consistency if you draw the right cards. That's one thing with draw cards, is there's still no guarantee that you're going to draw what you need. You just know that you're going to draw. Whereas with like search cards, you know, like a Patchwork, or, you know, for example, a Lunar Light Perfume, you knew you were getting, you knew you were getting the light attribute. You knew that you were going to get the fusion spell and the fusion fodder, and they could draw you on resolution. So this deck is definitely, it's a little bit more RNG related, but I still like it. It's still fun, and also at the same time, like I said, drawing into your side deck cards, playing a 60 card deck is very important. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the main deck, you guys. So let's go ahead and get started with 3 copies of Mathematician, the best normal summon of the deck, the strongest normal summon. The card just does so many things. There's a plethora of combos that you just do off of Mathman, plus like any Foolish Spell, like Foolish Burial Goods, Foolish Burial, Extra Foolish Burial. You know, any of your 7 Foolish Spells plus Mathman is like a crazy combo. Mathman plus Fusion Spells is just really, really nice. Yeah, Mathman is just incredible for this deck. Definitely baits back rows going second. He can even change a monster like Jackal King, you know, to defense, so you could swing over it, or you're gonna bait a monster negation. You know, you could target the you know, for example, the Adamancipator Dragite with the effect of Hound. You know, for example, or anything like that. Just like changing monsters to defense, if you have a big enough monster, can really just make Mathman that much more progressive going second. But he's definitely standalone. Then I'm playing 3 copies of Squamata and 3 copies of Windy, 3 copies of Hedgehog. These are the best SHADDOLLs to draw to, because these are going to get you access to the SHADDOLLs that you're missing. Hedgehog searches out your light attributes or your Windies. Squamata is basically Construct without being a fusion monster. It does the exact same thing as Construct on summon. And then obviously Windy is one of your best tutorers, so you can generate more field advantage. And also at the same time, she's part of one of your standard combos. She's literally like one of the best SHADDOLLs like ever. And then I'm still playing 3 copies of Ariel. I just love Ariel so much. I find myself using Ariels a lot. That's why I played 3, because I just burn through them so fast. It's a good meta call. It still can counter Block Dragon. You can use Ariel. If you see that your opponent is about to get, you know, for example, 3 Earths Engraved, you know, you could just use Ariel to banish some, so that they won't be able to, you know, for example, potentially they might not be able to use the Block Dragon's effect, but sometimes they still have it. It's just that it's so definitive for the format, because there's so many decks that need their graveyard. You have Eldritch, you know, you have, this still, the SHADDOLL matchup still matters. You have Dinosaurs, making sure that they can't banish to summon the Conductor, banishing the miscellaneous sources, you know, just, it's just such a good meta call. I'm telling you guys, Salamangreats is still a strong deck, so I just feel that one Ariel is necessary for the combo, and the other one comes up for your mid to late game when you use this effect again to flip it and special summon from the banish zone. And you always want to have one to be able to send to disrupt plays off of Construct's effect, because what I do is I'll use Incarnation to summon the Construct on my opponent's turn, and turn Construct into a weapon to send Dragon or send Ariel. Ariel to disrupt combos. Dragon, if you're playing against Pendulums, you can send Dragon, target a Servant in scale, target an Abductor, you know, just pop their scales. It's just so strong. So yeah, 3 Ariels for me is the way to go. I'm also rocking 3 copies of SHADDOLL Beast. I just find that maxing out on the best SHADDOLLs is really important for me. Like for me, especially because I play 60, like not opening enough dolls or opening a fusion spell with no dolls is one of the worst feelings ever. So your ratios do really matter with this deck. You don't want to play too many fusion spells. You don't want to play too many dolls. You want them to mirror each other. It's like an algorithm like Cosmos, you know, like what I do with Monarchs, with my Tribute Fodder and my Tribute Monsters. You know, you want to kind of have an equilibrium for them. Like, we want to have nearly the same amount, but what I would want more is always more dolls than fusion spells. Then I have 1 copy of Caius. You definitely want to main deck 1. It turns your bad hands into playable Construct combos. We have 1 Falco. Falco is incredible for the grind. You can even do Needle Fiber plays with it if you want to change your extra deck in your main deck for that. We have 1 copy of Hound, one of the MVP SHADDOLLs. It just makes so many plays by itself. It's crazy. Not literally by itself, but just by having it in your deck. There's so many things that you're able to do that you would not be able to do if you didn't play that one hound. And then one copy of Dragon. That's going to be it for the SHADDOLL monster. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that in a pile. And then I will slide this into a pile. And then slide this into a pile. So continuing with the supplementary engine cards, I'm playing 2 copies of Edge of Chain. The Patchwork engine is just insane, you guys. It's a +1 by nature, and it gets you 2 things that you need: a fusion spell and a fusion material. Like it turns hands playable, you guys. I'm playing 1 copy of Damage Juggler and 1 Trick Clown. You can also just use the Math Man to dump these when you need them. I am playing the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy because the Spellbook engine is good. Spellbook of Knowledge is like Spellbook of Knowledge inside SHADDOLLs is like Sacred Sword of the 7 stars when you're playing. Like back in the day when Dragon Rulers were relevant, it was like Sacred Sword of the 7 stars. You would draw 2 and get a really powerful effect. The same thing kind of applies for this deck. I'm also playing 1 Dragon. That's the sync in the background, you guys. I'm playing 1 copy of Dragon Buster Destruction Sword in the main deck because I value the lock. My deck never lost a Dark Ruler no more. I don't make heavy combo boards unless I just have to. Like if I'm playing against a crazy deck like Adamantipator, I have to kind of commit and make sure that I can make a board that's viable enough. But typically, I leave Cross Sheep on my board, and I just use Incarnation and El SHADDOLL Fusion to generate advantage on my opponent's turn. With them, you want to leave a Cross Sheep and a window equipped with this. If they Dark Ruler no more you can obviously still just activate El SHADDOLL Fusion, summon another window. If they out the window, use Incarnation to summon it. But locking your opponent out of their extra deck and having a window at the same time is nearly the equivalent of just Vanity's Fiend at that point. It's like it's so hard, you know, and sometimes you want to equip the Buster to a different threat so that your opponent can just kaiju the window and out the Buster at the same time. So, you know, you definitely make hindsight plays when it comes to game 2 and 3. But that's going to be it for the monster count. For the spells, I'm playing 3 copies of Pot of Desires, you guys. This card is inherently a +1 by nature. We're playing 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. You play a lot of dark targets. You're even able to search your dark targets. Patchwork gets you dark targets. You know, there's just a ton of ways to do it. I'm playing 1 Secrets and 1 Knowledge. Now, Knowledge, basically, the Blue Boy, the Secrets, and the Knowledge just count as 3 Knowledge. Instead of playing 3 copies of Knowledge, you know, you just have that. But if you want to, you could just cut the Secrets and the Blue Boy and just play 3 Knowledge. I still play the Blue Boy so that I don't ever run into a hand where I have, like, a Secrets, you know, for example, and I can't actually, I don't have a Spellcaster. So just having the Secrets and the Blue Boy, it makes the Knowledge a bit more consistent in the terms of, like, playing 3 Knowledge would mean you have to draw a Spellcaster every single time, but just being able to have the Blue Boy and the Secrets to search the Knowledge, just make sure that you'll always be able to resolve it and get that +1. So you have a +1 off of Knowledge, well, a +1 off the Spellbooks, a +1 off of Desires, and then continuing with our consistency cards, 3 copies of Patchwork. So Patchwork is another +1. So you do have 3 inherent +1s in your spell lineup, and drawing all 3 of them is actually really nice because you go from 5 cards to 8 cards in hand. But yeah, Patchwork is one of the most powerful spells in this deck. It's a self-replacing engine. The chain that you search off of it will search another Patchwork so that you can activate it on the follow-up turn. Normally 1 is enough, but just being able to get a Patchwork off of a Patchwork and a Poly is just crazy, you guys. I'm rocking 3 copies of Extra Foolish Burial. This card actually does have a restriction that prevents you from setting cards, but for me, when I'm in that dire situation where I have to activate this, I do not mind taking that trade out so that my hand becomes playable. It's just now I'm not able to set L, so I'm not able to basically play the mid-range way that I play this deck. So I have to summon Appaloosa and Winda and Dweller. And you can do that. Like when you resolve this and search any dog card and then discard a card, you're able to do a lot of crazy things. You're searching any SHADDOLL card from your deck to your hand. Normally when you have to resolve this, it's because you didn't have a fusion spell. You have a bunch of dolls and like this and a fusion spell. So when you have those awkward hands, this is like one of your life-saving cards. Even though the deck's so consistent, you still can run into those hands. Whether you play 40, whether you play 60, it's inherently a prob and stats kind of thing. You know, ratios are definitive for making your deck more consistent. But no matter what, you don't know what you're going to draw because you shuffle it, your opponent cuts it, and you draw. And then I play 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. This is one of my favorite combo pieces in the deck. This card is just insane, you guys. I love it. I'm not playing the Lunalight engine in this deck because Desires there's already so many 1-ups and they're just throwing more 1-ups. Desires can absolutely kill engines in this deck. But in my other list, I would definitely recommend play the full engine of the Lunalights. Not all of them, but just play the Sheeps, play the Lunalight Wolf, not the Tire is, you know, it's banned. Play the Lunalight Wolf and play the Perfume. Your Foolish Barrel Goods becomes a card that can search Poly and can search a light attribute. That's something I came up with myself that I shared with the channel. One Foolish Burial, one of the most versatile spells in the deck. So the rest of these, all of these are deck thinning spells. Just keep that in mind. All of these are deck thinning spells that get you combo pieces. Some of them are combo pieces, some of them search combo pieces, some of them have a potential chance to draw combo pieces. But this pile of cards right here is definitely like drawing any one of these spells is going to change your hand's composition to playable every single time. So it's a really, really nice thing to have these in your deck. But the next thing in the deck is probably the most important portion is the fusion spells, because oftentimes it's really hard to play this deck when you don't draw a fusion spell. So we're playing 3 SHADDOLL fusion, 3 SHADDOLL fusions. L is my favorite. It's more flexible. It plays around things like inherently you can chain it to things like different dimension ground, retaliating sea, anti-spell fragrance, you know, artifact sanctum. You can even, going second, you can use it to chain to reactive negation cards. It's just a really, really strong card. It's more flexible than SHADDOLL Fusion. SHADDOLL Fusion is just more gas when you're going second. Like when you're going second, that's when this becomes beneficial, but going first, it's just Ash Blossom bait. I just hope they ash it so I can follow up with L. And then I am playing 3 copies of Polymerization, and I'm also playing 2 copies of Super Poly. I just cut it down to 2 in this list. You're seeing it a lot more often because you have a lot of draw spells. Just losing 1 Super Poly doesn't really hurt too much. The other thing too is going first. It's not very much of a combo piece unless your hand's playable. Otherwise, you're just going to hope that you can Super Poly them when you set it. And then for the traps, I play 3 Incarnations and then 1 copy of Core. This, I'm just going to keep this how it is. Like, unless I play a different compact engine and it becomes not SHADDOLL pure, I'm always going to play 3 Incarnations because this trap is like so annoying. When you're grinding your opponent out, they're going to get annoyed by this trap because every time you summon a fusion off of it, the fusion's going to get the trap back. It's just stupid. Like, just looping Construct, looping Cologne, constantly negating cards, even summoning Window. This is how, like, they can open Dark Ruler No More plus a Kaiju, and you can still summon the Window anyway. They can Dark Ruler the first one, you SHADDOLL Fusion to the second one, they Kaiju it, and then you just flip this, and it's just, it's so annoying, you guys. Like, this trap is so good. It really is. And that is the main deck. It's a 60-card main. The extra for the SHADDOLLs, I'm playing 1 Construct, 3 SHADDOLL constructs. This is part of some of the crazy 2-card combos I've showed on this channel, where you can have no fusion spells, make this Link Monster right here on your first turn, and activate it to fuse into the other construct. You can do that without even activating a fusion spell. It's really, really nice. We're playing 2 Colognes, Apple Juice, Apple Leonis, you can call it whatever you want. I just... Nicknames may change for me. The card's just insane, you guys. A permanent negation plus a follow-up of adding any dog card, discarding. Leaving this card on field will just get you inherent added value. The card is just insane. Summoning this off of Incarnation, being able to negate a card, it can't be destroyed by battle. They finally get over it, and you just search for your fusion your next turn. It's crazy. This deck is still meta for me personally. Just because Adamantimators and Eldritch came out and Secret Slayers, it doesn't mean that this deck is less powerful or it's not much of a threat. Because it's still like Winda collapsed so many decks, but Winda backed up with threats like Oppo and Dweller and the Trap to just loop the Winda. The decks that Winda beats, it's just so hard for them to even out this, like, because you have so many ways to keep it on field and resummon it when you play Pure. When you play Invoke, you start putting out different threats like Raijin and, you know, Mechaba, and you just do different combos. But for me with Pure, it's a lot harder to beat a Winda if you're playing Pure SHADDOLLs. Like, it's just crazy. Cologne also adds from grave to hand. Just keep that in mind. So you can always grind off of this with Incarnation as well. 2 copies of Winda. It's necessary to play at least 2. When the first one gets outed, you can summon the second one via L and use the trap to bring it back. So you have, with the full combo, you can summon Winda 3 times. Any deck that loses to Winda, they have to draw 3 outs. And then they need some kind of combo to kill you after that, which normally is not very realistic. So Dark Ruler actually helps you because then they Dark Ruler you, you can't get OTK'd, and they still have to deal with 2 more Windas. 1 Shikinaga, just so you can have some form of interaction. The Cologne is great, but it only hits threats on board. Shikinagas can still react to cards like in the graveyard, you know, in the hand, in the Banish Zone, things of that nature. Well, no, I'm sorry, not in the hand of the Banish Zone. I'm sorry. Just effects that happen like when a card is special summoned from the extra deck. I really need to correct myself. It's just a form of interaction. I really got ahead of myself with that. But Shikinaga only negates the effects of special summon monsters from the extra deck. My bad. Or really just special summon monsters in general. I think about this in Unicorn sometimes, but yeah, it just negates the effects of special summon monsters. So if you special summon a monster, you know, you'll be able to use the Shiki Naga on it. But the main point of it really was just that it has an interaction that Op doesn't have. That's why it's still worth playing. And obviously Mathman gives you the Earths so that you can make this, or you could just use Shaddoll Core to make it. But it's definitely worth playing. And then we have one Gravity Controller, we have one Cross Sheep, one Subterra Behemoth Fiendus, one Union Carrier, and then one Appaloosa, and one Abyss Roller for the extra deck. Now, as far as links go, the Link 2s are where it's at, and the Gravity Controller is where it's at. Like these, you make combos off of these. Like Union Carrier, you can even equip Edgent Chain so that you can get its effect when it's sent you could send it from the hand or the field to the grave. And basically, you'll get its effect to add up Edge of Chain. So this can even get you follow-ups. Or it just equips the Destruction Sword so that you just lock your opponent out their extra deck. And you can, if you open your standard combo, like if you just open any way to summon Cross Shape and loop the Construct, that same combo, like El Shaddol Fusion, Alight, plus, you know, Squamata or Windy, you can easily summon Union Carrier. And then you can make that board. You can lock your opponent out. Behemoth Fiendus is just one of those cards you definitely want to test with. It's absolutely worth playing for me. In the long run, it's the strongest Link 2 in the extra deck. So it's definitely like, it's so worth it, you guys. Cross Sheep's pretty standard, so it's Gravity Controller. Summon the Op Cologne, you know, link it in a Gravity Controller, get the Search. Construct is so powerful, you guys. Just after you summon this, its graveyard effect constantly bringing itself back. Being an extender by nature, a link fodder so that you can spam into more links if you want to. And also it being able to just fuse on legs and make anything you really want sometimes is crazy. Like, this card is just so good. As far as longevity goes, this is the strongest link in the deck. Like, you want to have Cross Sheep and Construct. Like, they're just so good. And that is the deck profile. I have a ton of combos, a ton of videos on first Shaddolls and Prediction Princess Shaddolls. There's a lot of Shaddoll content on this channel in general, so if you guys are looking for Shaddolls, this might be a channel that you might want to subscribe to, because I have a lot of stuff that will be very helpful for you, and I don't mind helping out when I can. But I'm going to say a quick little prayer. If you guys do not want to stick around for the prayer, just skip past that part. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Jesus. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on earth just as it is in heaven. Please give us this day our daily bread, Lord, and please forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not to temptation, Father, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the glory, and the power forever. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Amen. All right, you guys. Deuces is wild. I do got more content coming for you guys eventually. But just keep in mind, I'm just always working with what I got. So sometimes you guys request decks that I don't have them. And you guys know my quality for live streaming is kind of terrible. So, you know, I don't want you guys really to have to bear through that just to see something. But I'm trying, you guys. It's going to only get better. I will say that. It'll only get better. And it's constantly gotten better, you know, as far as like getting what I need. It's just got better and better and better. The channel's got bigger, you know, more following and stuff. So I'm definitely optimistic for that. I'm going to get what I need. But anyways, peace out, you guys.